Hi, I'm Gary Feldman here today with Anita Anello, from the Wealthy SAP Consultant. How are you today?
Oh, Gary, I'm so excited to be here with you today. It's so amazing to have this conversation and just connect with people that we've known in this industry for so many years.
Yeah, I don't like saying how many years, but what inspired you to get started?
Oh, well, Gary, part of my story is I had been with SAP many years ago. I was actually I head up professional services, and in that time, our group was responsible for bringing about 10,000 net new clients into the SAP ecosystem. I also developed a knack for being able to meet with and talk with and help channel partners and independent consultants be able to come to the marketplace a little bit better, close deals faster, and be able to position themselves a little bit differently. And then one of the things that happened, I loved my work at SAP for so many years. I had a real niche market that I served in being able to serve both, like I said, channel partners and SAP customers, and then also SAP consultants. And then some things shifted in our household, and I came home and homeschooled my kids full time for a little while. And then about 2018, I started my own business. I kind of had this expertise. I got a little bit restless on the inside, and I went to my husband. I was like, "What do you think? Should I start something again?" He's like, "I don't know. Sure, if you want." And they were going okay. I was starting to get some clients, starting to get a little bit of traction. But actually, a couple of years ago, what happened, Gary, it was really kind of interesting. My husband went in for an outpatient procedure, ended up in the emergency room, and then spent a week in the cardiac wing. And in that week, he actually lost his job. So the bulk of our income was actually like completely removed from our household. So we had this kind of interesting situation. We had tensions were rising, medical debt was rising because, as we know, in the US especially, hospital stays are very, very expensive. And my mind started doing these kind of like gymnastics all night long. I was staying up, I was trying to serve clients, try to figure some things out, and my stress level was really high. And then a couple of things really shifted for me, Gary. Number one, I decided that I was going to make a difference because I needed to be able to allow my husband to come home and just heal for a while. And as I mentioned, we were still homeschooling our kids, still do today. So I needed not just money freedom, but I needed time freedom. And so one of the things that I did is I met with my coach at the time, went to a mastermind event, and it was like my eyes opened and something was all around me that I hadn't seen before. And he says to me, Anita, you're an expert in this SAP world, this consulting world. This was a different industry and he didn't know anything about it. And he's like, but I've watched you light up when you serve these clients at the highest level. What if we help you craft a higher impact, high ticket offer to serve your clients at a highest level, but actually not in a way that drains your energy? Because Gary, don't we know oftentimes
Mhm.
in the consulting world, we can maybe like the corporate job tells us, hey, work 40 hours a week and then do your normal job on top of that. Or as an independent, we might hear the messaging around us that says bill 40 hours a week and then run your business on top of that. And that's just exhausting. And so my heart was really, how do I serve the clients that I'm so good at serving and take that expertise and reposition it in the marketplace, but also have both time and money freedom? And that's where the Wealthy SAP Consultant Masterclass was born out of. And so we'll dive into that a little bit deeper, but that's kind of was some of the transition spots that we had, and that's part of our story.
Well, and you know that I've been building this new SAP Business One community,
Yeah.
and it's going to have the channel partners, the solution partners, the independent consultants, and hopefully also the end customers in a slightly different way because all of these constituencies, like you were talking about, they all have different, needs, wants, desires, things that they get out of being in a community. But, I think a lot of people who are joining this community could probably use to hear a little bit more about the wealthy SAP consultant formula, so to say.
Yeah, yeah.
So tell us.
So it's interesting. Once I started coming up with the formula, I started noticing a pattern. And I noticed a couple of patterns that were in the marketplace. Number one pattern, and we break this down a little bit deeper in the master class, but let me kind of give you a high level. Number one pattern is I noticed that as consultants were told in the corporate world, hey, by the way, just make your LinkedIn profile look like your resume and customers are going to come to you. And that's actually not the case. It's not the case at all. It's not good marketing. It's not. So what I notice is like 90% of the market actually does this part wrong, Gary. And one of the things that we teach in the Wealthy SAP Consultant Masterclass is how do you position yourself in the market, and really based on not on us first or the certifications that come behind our name or the letters that become behind our name. Like I'm all for more education, but it's not more education that actually draws our clients to it. It's communicating to the marketplace results-based outcomes. So for instance, if I have one of my SAP clients that is doing $1 million a day and currently in an SAP project that is struggling, they're overtime, behind budget, maybe on the verge of lawsuit with their channel partner, and I can get them out of escalation fast and get them back to making money, back to being profitable, back to serving their customers, back to getting live just as fast as possible in my VIP experience that I do, wouldn't it make sense that that would be attractive now to my future clients? Right? And then we think of it from an SAP consultant standpoint, some of the other things that we go over in the masterclass is as consultants, we all have these years of experience. We do have these certifications. We do have this expertise, but that's actually not what builds up what's called in the marketing world know, like, and trust with our customers. What does is building a system in our business. So in the Wealthy SAP Consultant or other offers I have in the marketplace, and what I help other consultants do is we create a system around the expertise and then communicate those results-based outcome along with our system. And that actually does a couple of cool things. It triggers to the mind of our prospects, you know what you're doing. You're not just going to show up, Anita, and like walk me through a 12,000 point project plan, because can we say like almost anybody can do that? You just do step one, step two. But you know what? Actually, what happens is when I model for the market and I model for other consultants and I model for my prospects, I know what I'm doing because I've done it time and time and time. I mean, I've walked hundreds of clients through some of these different offers. I walked about 450 independent consultants through creating systems and working on results-based outcome and getting our messaging tuned in so that this is actually where it gets really exciting, so that we can have actually more, not just money freedom, but time freedom. Because Gary, isn't it so interesting? I mean, you have kids, I have kids. One of the things I've noticed as I've talked to moms and dads and husbands and wives over the years, and invariably I hear something is they have this top line expertise, they have these clients that they serve, they have a heart to be able to go to the marketplace and get great results. But the undercurrent is there in that they want healthy marriages, they want to be able to raise their kids, they want to be able to do the things, what I'll put it in language that makes sense to me. If you're listening right now and you have different language, totally fine. What like these God-given desires and dreams and passions that we have inside of us to be able to not just work, but to be able to thrive in our lives and all these other areas. Like instead of having the idea of I have to go be an entrepreneur and don't we know sometimes this is actually kind of funny to me now. As an entrepreneur and independent consultant, when we leave a corporate job, sometimes we have the opportunity to work twice as much and make almost nothing. So how about we don't do that? But instead, why don't we create systems in our business and messaging to the marketplace and be able to come to the market as a trusted advisor to be able to get the outcomes that we know that we can help people get and have the time and money freedom that goes along with that.
Yeah, I think we were talking about one of my mentors, Art Abbey, and when people would come up with those, oh, I have these credentials, or look at all these things that I do, he would just look at you and just say, so what?
Yeah.
And so what? Like, you have a lot of books there. I like books. I like The Trusted Advisor, David Maister, great book. At the end of the day, nobody says, I wish I had one more book. Right? They say, I wish I had more time with my kids, or I wish I had more time, or I
Yeah.
wish I had done these things, helped these people.
Yeah.
And I think it's all about, helping the customer. So when you talk about results-based outcome, I mean, that's really what I'm always about because it's as a consultant or an independent advisor, or whatever we like to call ourselves these days, it's never about us.
No.
It's never about us. It's always about the client. So, that's where where like I always like to say, if you teach the people your formula, how does it serve the client,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
So, and I think results based, I mean, that's the whole, it's it's more than just the so what, it's the why, it's the everything these days, and it's working its way into all the new technologies as well.
No kidding. No kidding. It's so powerful to be able to come to the market that way.
Yeah, yeah. So what holds people back from doing this?
Well, let's go. So let's kind of expand out what we were just talking about. If I have the mindset, or I believe that what I consider like the corporate lie, that I have to come to the marketplace with all of my stuff first, that's actually not what draws clients in at all. As a matter of fact, I get hit up on LinkedIn all of the time. Hey, Anita, can you come work on this $65 an hour project? I just got one 40 to $60 an hour. Or can you come work on this $100 an hour or $200 an hour project? So if in my mind I think that there's not enough to go around, and I believe the corporate lie that I'm going to position myself like I'm the expert first, there's hundreds of thousands of SAP consultants all around the world. And so, what are the differentiator in a very noisy, loud market? We have to be able to cut through that and figure out a different way to do that. So, one of the ways that we do that is we focus on what I talked about earlier on these results-based outcome. Another way that we can do that is that I started to kind of allude to this. If in my mind, Gary, I'm telling myself the story, there's not enough business to go around, that's actually what I'll see. But instead, if I'm willing to shift my perspective, sometimes it's just the tiniest little shift in perspective that actually changes the entire trajectory of our lives. But if I'm willing to shift to see that there's more than enough business for you, there's more than enough business for me, there's something like an estimated 35 to 45,000 right now SAP customers that have to come off an old version of SAP that's being sunsetted, and they have to go to a new version of SAP. So it's not an upgrade. They need some people to come in. Like that's in the US market alone, right? So what happens and what holds me back is and others back is when our mindset says there's not enough to go around and I'm going to position myself as the expert. So that's two things at once. But instead, when I shift gears and I see that, wait a minute, there's more than enough business. There's actually never been a better time than right now to jump in and be an independent consultant because customers are clamoring. They are hungry. They need somebody who is more of like a partner, shoulder to shoulder. So it could be the channel partner, but it also can be independence. As we mentioned earlier, instead of just walking through the 1,200 steps on the project plan, no, they need somebody who can really evaluate some of the things that I do in some of my offers. How does the team work together? How do the business process work together? How do, and on and on and on. We kind of break that down a little bit more. But those are two things that we really start focusing on right out of the gate in the masterclass of like shifting gears so that you can see what's possible. And then once your eyes open, it's kind of like my story. I talked to my coach and he showed me, Anita, this is what's possible. And I was like, oh my gosh, I didn't even see it. It's like there is an alternate reality, an alternate universe that exists right next to every one of us. That if we could just open our eyes and step into the money that's already flowing in the marketplace, our whole lives would change, Gary.
Well, there are two things that you pointed out there that I thought were kind of interesting. One was the corporate lie of the 40-hour week, because I don't know about you, I have 168 hours in my week, and whether I give 40 to the job or not, that's really my choice as an independent consultant, right?
Yeah.
Um, but the other thing is, if I talk to SAP partners, all the time, and
Yes.
all of them say, God, I wish I had I could find another consultant. I wish I could find another. And yet there are the capacity in the market is always this amorphous thing because I might have people on the bench, you might be overworked at the same time,
Yeah.
and yet we don't get together as a team. And I think the independent contractor is not the same thing that it used to be, because I remember, I won't mention names, I was talking to one of the leading partners and they would used to go to me, independent contractors are independent for a reason. And the reasons they thought of back then are not valid anymore in today's economy. I can't
Yeah,
tell you how many former SAP executives like me and you
yeah.
are now out here, doing things for clients or for partners or for others as advocates and not as competition
Oh, yeah.
to the partners. Yet we still have people um, holding on to these myths
Yeah,
that and these lies as you call them.
yeah, yeah.
So are there any other like you know pearls of wisdom you can lay down on us before our time runs out today?
I love that, Gary. What yeah, I had this is so funny in my mind. What's going on right now is I kind of started to formulate an idea, and then you just said something that shifted my mindset. So, do you know it's so cool that you could do something very similar to the work that I do, either with SAP consultants or SAP clients, and you're actually not my competition. And here's why. First of all, the way that my mindset sees things, my experiences, the education that I have, the depth and breadth that I have in serving so many clients over so many years is different than your experience. And then I put together a signature system, or you learn how to do that in the SAP Consultant Masterclass. So your system is by definition going to be different than my system. So as we create our systems and bring the messaging to the marketplace and our systems to the marketplace, we're actually no longer in direct competition. We actually complement one another. And do you know that's actually what, when I talk to SAP customers over and over and over again, they want partners. I don't mean channel partners. I mean strategic partners. They want people that are going to collaborate with them. Do you know what they don't want? They don't want somebody. This is like diametrically opposed for somebody who says, I'm going to come to the table with my hourly rate and you're going to pay my hourly rate whether you want to or not. And then we're going to work, they're going to wrestle it all out. Customers do not want that. We actually, when we come to the marketplace, just talking about our hourly rate and leading by that, initially we set ourselves up to actually get into this, what we call escalation. Do you know there's something like, oh gosh, there's a book called Oh shoot, I'm gonna think I can picture the cover right now. It's like big projects thinking with something like that. And the author talks about how 90 to 95% of software projects go into escalation at any point in time during the entire project. So that's where my brain is going right now, is that we don't want to be diametrically opposed to any customers that we serve on the marketplace. We want to come together. We want to serve together. So when we start presenting ourselves to the marketplace with, here's my hourly rate, two things happen. There's lots more, but we'll just talk about two right now. Number one, then we're all competing on price, and my expertise is not your expertise, nor is it the same expertise as somebody overseas. After 21 years of being around SAP and working on so many projects, nobody is going to be able to replicate that. And number two, it's actually not what our clients are looking for. If I'm talking to a customer that just wants the lowest rate, I immediately know right off the bat they're not the right
They're
client.
not my customer.
No, they're not the
They're
best.
not my
Like,
customer.
that's great. Because, oh, by the way, can we go back to what we talked about earlier? So then they can be somebody else's
Else's
customer. So
customer.
there's plenty of room in the marketplace for them to be somebody else's customer. If they want to use somebody from an overseas market, like, great, go do that. Yes. But when I talk to my SAP consultants or I talk to and serve my SAP clients, both of those, they understand that level of expertise that I'm bringing to the marketplace to help them get the results that they are looking for in their businesses, whether it's those 100 million to $1 billion SAP customers that are making more than a million or more every day, and their projects are in trouble. And I know that I can get them out of escalation so fast because I've done it so many times. Or those SAP independent consultants that want to be able to have time and money freedom, get a fast cash infusion like right now, and get away from, I'm so worried about what's happening in the marketplace, to, do you know I built the best, amazing business that serves me, serves my family, serves my clients at the highest level? And we do that through what we call high impact, high ticket offers. And so, can you just even see like the whole countenance on my face changes when we talk about what's possible versus the old way of thinking. And do you know, Gary, I used to think that way too. And as I was coached by other high-level entrepreneurs and I started to see my mindset shift, I was like, oh, there's so much po that's possible now. It's like an endless supply of customers and communities, but what we really want is we're developing a community of people who really want what we have and want that camaraderie, want that support, want that coaching, want that breakthrough. Do we know there's lots of SAP LinkedIn communities, Facebook communities that have 50 or 90 or 8. I found one that has 869,000 people. Those are awesome, but they're actually quite quiet, quite dead. And what I find in those communities is the posting is just simply, hey, by the way, do you want this? I don't even know. It's like a cheat sheet to pass a
Let me
test or
sell you
something.
something. Let me
Something
sell
like,
you something. Let me sell you something. Let me sell you something. Let
yeah.
me sell you something. You want to buy that? You want to buy this? You want to buy this? No.
What if we just create community? And this is what I'm doing, this is what you're doing. What if we just create community of real people that are looking with real results, trying to help real clients get the outcomes that they're looking for and enjoy our lives along the way? Like, wouldn't that be amazing?
I started in the CPA world, which was
Yeah.
clearly the hourly billing world.
Yeah.
And then from there, I went to Accenture, where we had no weakness. We could do everything for everybody. And then when I left Accenture and I started iBusiness Network, I knew I couldn't be all things to all people anymore. So we created this whole network of people because if you were a job shop manufacturer, that's very different than a process manufacturer. And I can't serve you as well as so and so over there can. And so that's why we called it the network. And we took that and we keep on building on it now that I've sold all the assets and now we're just advisors and we're client advocates because we're not selling any software anymore. Do you sell software?
No,
No, so you don't have a quota.
no.
You don't have to achieve so many billable hours per month. No, like it's such a freedom to be able to serve the customer and advocate for the customer. And in dealing, like I work through a lot of partners as well. And the partners, and sometimes I work through the partner and sometimes I work alongside the partner because sometimes the customer doesn't want to tell the partner certain things,
Mhm.
or the partner doesn't want to say, I don't know that. But I can do that
Yeah,
because I'm not them.
right.
So, and I'm not saying they don't know that, but I can serve as that buffer. So there are so many ways that you can find your own niche in this huge market that we have just within SAP. And that's why, again, forming this community is to create a bunch of get people who are like-minded, but don't necessarily do the same thing because no two people do the
No,
same thing exactly the same way.
no, they don't.
So if we do this kind of stuff together, then a rising tide raises all ships, right?
So good. So good.
So
I love that.
no, so because we have this forum here, what should the listeners to this podcast do next?
Oh, that's a great question. So the next best thing is we'll put a link down below in the comments. Join the Wealthy SAP Consultant Masterclass that's coming up. We don't run them all the time, so just go ahead and click the link and you'll see the dates for the next one that's available. We're pretty exclusive in when we run them, who we run them for, and how often we run them on purpose. There's two ways that you can join the masterclass. You can either join in the VIP experience and being able to get a ticket right into the Zoom room, and I'll explain that more in just a second, or you can also attend for free and we'll stream that through our private Facebook group. Now in the VIP experience, what's really interesting is we'll do live hot seat coaching. So everybody can bring the challenges that they're currently having and going from hourly rate and maybe accelerating the rates by 3 to 10x, whatever that looks like for them. But we'll do live hot seat coaching. I'm actually a certified copywriter. I've done that in my some of my escapades in the years. And so one of the things that I have the ability to do, and I typically charge about 150K for this service when I work one-on-one with clients. I'm not saying that to impress anybody, but just to simply impress upon you what is possible by coming into the VIP experience. So we'll work on your messaging. We'll develop your system, your signature system that you can get out into the marketplace. We'll help you to see how you can raise up as the expert that you already are, and then a whole bunch of other stuff. Some of the other things that we do, Gary, in the VIP room and the VIP experiences, do you know when I started out, not at SAP, but when I started out as an independent consultant, I made a lot of mistakes. I was not super successful right off the bat.
Shocking.
And no. And so one of the things I love to be able to do is I love to be able to teach the 5 core mistakes that you want to avoid entirely so that you can get right to work and get a great fast cash infusion into your business now and get those, move away from those billable hours and really, really position yourself in the marketplace as the expert that you already are. So come on and join us for the Wealthy SAP Consultant Masterclass. We're super excited to be able to host our next one coming up in the next little while. So, and thank you so much, Gary, for being here with me today.
No, it's my pleasure.
It's
Good
been
to see you again.
yes, 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 good.
All
Okay,
right.
thanks everybody. Be sure to join the masterclass and we'll see you soon.
Bye bye.